Hi guys, it's Rick Shiels down here at Quest Golf Studio here in Lytham. I'm going to be talking today about the new Nike irons, the new kind of forgiving, oversized irons Nike have introduced to their previous model range, which I think is quite a crafty little move. So last year they had the Vapor Pros, the Vapor Pro Combos and the Vapor Speed. Well, they've dropped the Speed, even though I thought it was an amazing club. And that's the big forgiving one. It's ridiculously easy to hit, very, very good. I've always found Nike's forgiving range incredibly easy to hit. Well, they've dropped those speed ones and introduced two new sets. So we've got Nike Vaporfly, which is the biggest oversize, which I'm going to be reviewing now, and also the Vaporfly Pro, which is kind of the smaller version in between Super Forgiving and Pro Combo. Which, in hindsight, I think there is a gap, because the Pro Combos are kind of where you maybe 10 handicap, going down into single-figure handicapper sits. Your Pro Blades are for pros, because they're pretty difficult to hit. And then your Speed kind of covered everything else, so it was quite a big range, that, from kind of 10 handicapper all the way up to 28. It's too big a range to cover with one single club. So they brought two brand new sets in. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the design of both, but also I'm going to be hitting the Vaporfly in this one mainly. So the Vaporfly is the big forgiving one, the big chunky head, hollow head from 3 down to 7, I believe, and then starts to go into just a half cavity from 8 downwards, and then even just a normal cavity from, I think, the pitching wedge and the sand wedge. The Vaporfly Pro has cavity in 3, 4, 5, and then starts to go into this kind of middle cavity, half cavity, and then just a cavity going into the finish. Right, I'm going to come on to the Fly Pro in the next video, so stay tuned for that. But this is the Vaporfly Pro next video. Vaporfly, right, let's have a look at it. So first off, it's quite out there, would be a good description. Vault was their big colour last year. Yellow/green colour. Vault was their big colour last year, and that was across the board with the drivers, the irons, everything was kind of Vault crazy. They've introduced a new colour today, which you'll see in the drivers. They've not just introduced it today, but they've introduced a new colour scheme into it. And apparently Nike trying to keep it in line with their other sports brands. So when you go and buy a pair of football boots or running trainers, you'll see glimpses of Vault and this blue, which is photo blue. Yep, that's right, photo blue. You'll see it, like I say, more in the driver. They're starting to bring these colours into golf as well. Now, that makes this club incredibly cool looking. Incredibly cool looking. It's got a shiny kind of, it's a good way of describing it, almost like a dark nickel effect, but a shiny version around the head, which I think is a super high-end looking product. The Vault tick swoosh on the back really stands out now because of the darker finish, and it's got a bit of this resin at the back, and you'll see a lot of resin in Nike products coming up soon. Resin's like a light material but strong, so it's a bit plasticky really, but it's doing the job in a lot of different things about shifting weight and moving weight and all that jazz. So it's quite strong yet really light material. It does give a very distinct sound to a lot of the clubs. And certainly a club you'll see later on down the line, one of the drivers, gives it a certain distinguished sound without question. But it's super cool. Now, I'm not sure if it's too cool. For the market that it's at, so you think about this market, this is the most forgiving market, okay? You have in this market let's say your new golfer. So brand new to golf, he or she is brand new to golf, and they want to pick up a set. Now, a new golfer can have quite a wide age range. It could be from a young kid, or a junior, or a young adult, or someone even later on down the line. I think for the earlier stage, the earlier developers, the kids and the teenagers and the young gents may pick this up, may want to hit it, may want to try it. I think once you get maybe over late 20s, early 30s, I don't know if these are just a little bit too cool. I feel like you need to have your cap on backwards for this, and shorts on, and you know, your shirt hanging out. And I don't know if that's a good ploy, because in this age range, you've also got high handicappers who are maybe senior golfers or elderly gentlemen or ladies who want some forgiveness, which this offers, by the way, but they might not want to hit it because it kind of looks a bit too cool for school. And I would agree with that. You know, a statement I've said, so I'm obviously going to agree with it. But I would agree with it. It's too cool. I don't know. I think you're just going to divide opinions on a club that looks so modern and you know, young looking, let's say. Like I said before, I've always liked the Nike Forgiving Iron. This is a 7 iron. I've tried to look at the spec. I think it's about 31 degrees, so not overly strong. Similar in line to the Speed Iron that they brought out last year. I've just got this in a recoil shaft, 460 F3. Feels all right. It's a little bit graphite looking, but it feels all right. Blue grip, which is, again, not sure if your elderly gentleman would love that. Young kid, oh yeah, that's too cool. Behind the ball, mega forgiveness. Big, big chunky head. This is the hollow head, the 7 iron. Let's hit some shots. So I'm going to do some more testing in a minute, but I'll just give you my reaction when I hit this first, because I've known Nike clubs in the past have done this. Just gone, boom! And they do. The Forgiving Irons just seem to go up and easy to hit. And I remember testing the Nike Coverts a couple of years ago, the VRS ones, and I hit it. And I even claimed then they were the most forgiving, easy to hit irons I've ever hit. And I would still stand up by those words right now. I really would. And I'd probably said again the same with the Speed, and again with this one. They make them so forgiving. They really do. They make it just so easy. Big hollow head, lots of forgiveness, weight right down at the bottom of the sole. And boom. Easy. Easy. But they're too cool. Right, I'm going to get some numbers up. I've got a 7 iron, I've got a pitching wedge, and a 5 iron. So I'm going to hit a few shots. Now, the new way I'm going to test clubs, I'm going to hit a lot more shots. So with a 7 iron, I'm going to hit 30 shots right now. Now, to mean you have to sit through all that would be ridiculous, and I really don't want you to do that because that would be a waste of everyone's time. So join me back in about, I don't know, half an hour, let's say. You don't have to, you can join me back in a second, and we'll have a look at how this is performing over a 30-shot radius. They're just flying machines. Right, 30 shots done and dusted. And I've looked through the figures, and I've divided them into 3 sections of 10. I want to show you the best 10 shots, the middle 10 shots, and the worst performing 10 shots. So we can see a bit of information about how it's performing when it's best hit, when it's medium hit, and when it's worst hit. And this has given me some very interesting numbers. So let me tell you the average first. So the average of this 7 iron, which is healthy, it's not the longest in the world, was 172 yards of carry distance. That's me with a ball speed of 122, launch angle at 17.3, some other data as well, but mainly, let's get the height actually, 33 yards up in the air, which is just up there. Carrying at 172 on average. Okay, that's all 30 shots that I hit, every single shot. Right, let's have a look at the middle 10 first. So the middle 10, no surprise, average carry distance was 172 yards. Who would have guessed it? Ranging anywhere from 170 yards carry to 174 yards carry. There was the strikes. So I'm throwing in all of the strikes. So my average club head speed was 92. I hit the ball from 7 degrees from the inside. That's what I kind of do too much. Loft was 22.6 degrees present at contact. Strike was circulating round middle. One slightly high towards the toe. And kind of the rest of them dancing low and middle. Okay, so that was there and thereabouts. Okay. Let's have a look at the best 10 shots. So see what the best 10 shots did. So the best 10, which I always like the gap not to be too big, because you never want to hit a shot that goes ridiculously too far on a good shot. Average carry distance, 176, which is okay. Only 4 yards further, which is fine. Anywhere ranging that time from 174 yards to 180 yards. My dispersion did get wider, so I started to hit it a little bit wider side to side, and some of those longer shots did go left, almost like a bit of a pull. But look at the strike. The strike was absolutely in the middle pretty much every single time. just above equator line, right in the middle. Clubhead speed was slightly less, 91, believe it or not, but that efficient strike and slightly lower loft was getting that ball pumping out there. They were good shots. Right. I think the important one, though, is how it performed when it wasn't hit well, when it was hit poorly. Okay? So 10 shots. These shots ranged anywhere from 160 yards was the worst shot to 170. And it averaged 167 yards carry distance. They're the worst 10 shots that I've just hit, the worst 10. I'll show you the strike. Strike is all over the show on the face, you can see. Clubhead speed is oddly faster. Maybe that's telling me something. And the loft was a little bit higher. So when I add a little bit too much loft and I don't catch it great, I lose on average 5 yards away from average and 10 yards away from the best, which isn't that bad. In reality, that's not too bad at all, because if you hit a bad one, yeah, the worst bad one was 160. Yes, if you're hitting that one, that's no good. But if you're hitting your bad ones, averaging it around that 167 mark, only 5 yards away from where the good shots are, this is doing some business. This is working in some way. I hit the 5-iron as well, and the pitching wedge. Now, the 5-iron for me was averaging at 206. I've not got the loft on that, but I would guesstimate it somewhere around the 25 mark, 25 degrees. 206, which is 30 yards further than my 7-iron. So that would mean my 6-iron would go 15 yards in between the two, which probably makes about sense. And the pitching wedge that I hit as well, 143 yards on average. So they were, again, good hits. So for me there, the Vapor Fly is super easy to hit, which I thought it would be. The dispersion from the best shots to the worst shots is good. It's healthy. It's long, but it's not ridiculously long. It's the thing for me, for the golfer this suits, it goes up in the air. The ball is super easy to hit up in the air, and even on missed strikes, it still performs to some level. I still think it's a little bit too cool for school. I think the graphics and the design, if done in a better way, would have opened a much wider audience of golfers. I feel like you may find your mid-aged player who likes to still wear maybe white belts and white trousers may still put this in the bag, but it's going to be a selected amount of players that would play this club just from the visual standpoint, I feel. So, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'm going to jump now onto the Vapor Fly Pro, which is the step down from this one, the slightly less forgiving one, but still with plenty of forgiveness. Different look on this head as well, which I think, again, might mix opinions. If you've enjoyed the video and enjoyed the fact that I'm hitting more golf shots in the reviews, give the video a thumbs up. Comment down below what do you think about the new Nike range. I'm excited to show you the drivers, which will be coming very soon. Stay tuned. And that was a review of the Nike Vapor Fly Iron. Now jumping on to the Fly Pro. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe, and we'll see you next time.